All right, so move on to the next segment. I'll be sharing my thoughts on which professional sport is the hardest sport to win a championship in. Whew. So for this segment, I really took a lot of time and a lot of consideration to consider what truly is the hardest sport to win a championship at the professional level. And I think respectfully, every sport is, whether it's football in the NFL, NBA, MLB, for baseball, NHL, for hockey. You can even go the combat sports route because you don't even have teammates to win championships in, whether you're talking about MMA or boxing. So I did take a lot of consideration into this. But with that being said, I have to say that the NFL winning the Lombardi Trophy and winning a Super Bowl title is truly the hardest championship to win in a professional sport. And I feel like the NFL, it's the hardest to win a professional championship in because, in my opinion, football is the most competitive and most physical sport in sports today over the NBA, over the MLB, and over NHL. And you could throw combat sports in there because they are singles. There are no teammates in MMA or boxing. But you have to depend on over 50 guys to win a Super Bowl in the National Football League. And also, you got to put that in consideration because the NFL seasons are shorter. You only have 17 to 18 weeks in a regular season. It's a more physical season than the NBA, the MLB, the NHL. Way more shorter. And things are way more physical. And every game is important on a weekly basis. The NBA, if you mess up a few games, you can get right back on track. MLB and NHL. No. And the NFL, you only get a few weeks to get things right. If you have two back-to-back weeks, two back-to-back losses, that could jeopardize how things are going to go for you jockeying in position in terms of your division. And then if you have a rocky start to the first half of the NFL season, you got to play catch up with the other elite caliber teams in your conference to try to win a division title, to try to jock for position for playoff seeding, or be SOL in terms of getting the number 1 or number 2 seed in your respective conference. So those things are really important to win a championship in the National Football League. That's why I say it's very hard. And also, playoff games are single elimination games. NBA, MLB, NHL, you're playing in 5 to 7 game series in terms of trying to advance. No, NFL, you get one shot in playoff games. You get one shot, single elimination per playoff game. So that's why it's hard. And no matter when you get to the dance, you really have a shot to win it all because the underdogs could upset the top tier teams due to the fact that it's single elimination games. And that's why it's so hard for teams to go back to back winning Super Bowl titles because anything is possible, anything can happen, and you got to be alert and be ready to go when things go to the worst, like in any sport. But I just feel like the NFL is the hardest to win a Super Bowl in for a professional sport. Now, my honorable mention has to be the MLB. I really feel like it's hard to win a World Series in professional sports. And I feel like that's my honorable mention behind the NFL. I stand by that. I do believe the NFL is the hardest to win a professional championship in, to get your hands on the Lombardi Trophy. But for MLB, for winning a World Series, there's so many factors that go into winning a World Series. Because if you're a small market team, you're not going to get your hands on the big free agent stars when they finally hit free agency and hit the free agent market, due to the fact that you're not going to be able to afford them. So that already puts you in a hole if you're a small market team compared to the big market teams of the New York Yankees and the Dodgers of the world. And you really got to win a World Series in the regular season, you got to have good hitting, obviously. You got to have a good starting pitcher. You got to have a good pitching rotation. You got to have a good closer. All those ingredients and all those factors go into a World Series. And you have to hit on prospects because it really takes 2 to 4 years to develop them in the minor leagues for them to come up to the major leagues and be a X factor for your respective ball club. And it takes time. And obviously, the MLB is the longest regular season compared to the NFL, the NBA, and the NHL because you play 162 games in a MLB regular season. Then you got to turn around and do it for the playoffs. That's a lot of ball games played in a MLB season. So I really have to say it is really tough and very hard to win a World Series title as well. So those respective sports, again, second MLB, and at number one, the NFL. I think those are the hardest professional sports to win a professional championship at the professional level. But those are my thoughts on that. That was a very hard segment for you guys to think of. But those are my thoughts on that segment on which professional sport is the hardest to win a professional title in.